All right, we have a quorum. Should we go ahead and get started then?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to open the meeting of the Townsend Affordable Housing Trust on Monday, November 18th at 1:02 p.m. Could I have a roll call, please?
Dave Worland, present.
Beverly Napier, present.
And Veronica Kell, present. Cindy Boundy is absent, but she may be joining us. I expected her to be here, so I don't know. All right. Then the meeting is being recorded. However, Dave, it's not live on Channel 9, is it?
Correct, it is not.
Okay. So it'll be posted on the town YouTube channel after the fact. All right. Moving on to chairman's additions or is anyone else recording the meeting? I should ask that. All right, hearing none, I assume that the only recording then is the TCAM recording for this meeting. Chairman's additions and deletions to the agenda unforeseen prior to 48 hours of this meeting. I have no changes at this point. There was an updated agenda posted, but other than that, no additions at this time. Anybody else have anything to add? All right, then we can move on to meeting business. 2.1, approve the meeting minutes for September 4th and October 7th. Aaron did send those out late last week, I guess it was. So is there a motion to accept the minutes of September 7th?
I make a motion to accept the minutes of September 4th or October 7th. Which are we doing?
Oh, I'm
October
sorry. I have it
7th.
wrong on my notes. September 4th. I'm sorry. Thank you, Beverly.
September 4th.
And is there
I second the motion to accept the minutes for September 4th.
all right, is there any discussion on those? I had nothing to add to those. Anybody else?
I don't know. It sounded like.
I'm not sure who's talking. It might be TCAM. Is someone,
Yeah, we just had something happen here at Town Hall that felt like an earthquake, and I think everyone's trying to figure out what happened.
oh my goodness.
The whole building shook a couple of times.
We heard it here.
Well, whatever it was big, and we're looking in the building to see what's happening, if we can
Yeah.
figure it out.
You felt it at your house?
No,
We heard
We heard it.
You heard it?
Yeah. There was some big rumble here.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Sonic boom, maybe. I didn't hear it. So I'll wait just a minute for Dave to come back. I imagine he's investigating.
It was very strange. It like seemed as if somebody had like fallen up above us or something. It was very strange.
Okay. Well, we're going to continue on. So I don't have anything to add to the September 4th minutes. Anybody else?
No.
All right.
No.
So all those in favor of accepting the September 4th minute roll call vote. So I'm going to call on you. Beverly, how do you vote?
Aye. Yes. I don't know.
David, how
am I
do you
supposed to
vote?
vote?
I vote yes, accept.
And I, Veronica
Yeah.
Kell, vote to accept the minutes as well. So,
Veronica, was there a second for the motion?
yes, David seconded it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, the next set of minutes is the October 7th minutes. Where is my, hold on 1 minute. Here. Cindy, Dave, Cindy says she can't get into the meeting. I wonder if that
Meaning what?
has, Cindy Boundy is trying to Zoom into the meeting. Not you, David, Dave Bunioli for TCAM.
They might be able to let her in just a second once they,
This is
Determine
where
the,
with TCAM, we're not sure, is she using the right numbers to access the meeting?
I don't know. This is a text. I'm gonna just say it's working, check the numbers.
Perhaps you could cut and paste the meeting link and send it to her. Can you do that, Dave?
I can go ahead and do that.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you.
Erin, why don't you do that? Because I'm going out
Thank
to
you.
see if we can figure out what the earthquake was.
The thump.
Okay, all right, moving on to the minutes of October 7th. Is there a motion to accept the minutes of October 7th?
I move to accept the minutes of October 7th as, to the best of my knowledge, I recall them.
I have a couple of edits if that's okay.
Yeah, can we get a second to the motion, or should we do the edits first, Erin?
Should probably do the edits first, and then we can
Okay.
make a motion to accept it as corrected.
Okay, all right.
The only corrections that I have are to change, sorry, let me pull it up. It says a roll call vote was done on the second to last paragraph and the last paragraph, and I would change both of those to a vote was called. So it was not a roll call vote, and that's something that we're going to rectify.
Okay, so let's remake the motion with the edits as stated. So Dave, you want to redo the motion? To accept the
Yes,
minutes?
I move to accept the minutes as edited for October 7th.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, roll call vote. Let's start with Beverly. Just say your name and how you vote.
Beverly Napier, I accept.
David
Worland, I accept.
and Veronica Cal, I accept also. All right, so minutes for the 4th and the 7th are done. At this point, I'd like to have a motion to, hang on 1 minute, to accept the response to the September 18th, 2024 open meeting law complaint via roll call vote. This is to ratify the vote that was taken on October 7th. So is there a motion to accept the response to the September 18th, 2024, or to ratify the acceptance of the response to the September 18th, 2024 open meeting law complaint?
I make a motion to ratify and accept the, is it the September 18th, was it?
I think it was the September 18th, 2024 open meeting law complaint.
So the
The
to ratify
response.
the-
meeting vote.
It's to ratify the vote made on October 7th, though, correct?
Correct, to ratify the vote made on October 7th. Is there a different way we should word that,
Vote made on
Erin?
October 7th. All right.
Well, since Cindy isn't here, I will second ratifying the vote that was taken on October 7th. Answering the complaint of September 18th. Is that correct? Because obviously I am not fully versed in the open meeting law rules, which seems to me to be an incredible waste of time, because the mission of this board is not to focus and spend all of this time on these hypocritical comments and complaints. But if we're going to play by the rules, then we're going to need your direction from the chair to make sure that we don't waste any further time doing this and use our time constructively.
I agree with you totally. It looks like we have Cindy with us now. Cindy, can you hear us?
I can hear you. I'm trying to unmute myself.
Oh,
Yes,
we can
I
hear
can hear
you. We can
Oh,
hear
good.
you.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
So we have just made a motion and it was seconded to ratify the vote taken at the October 7th meeting to accept the response to the September 18th, 2024 open meeting law complaint. So it was made by Beverly and seconded by David. David just commented on his thoughts on this. Do you have any comment prior to us taking a roll call vote to ratify that motion?
No, I have no comment.
All right, then roll call vote, beginning with Beverly, please. This is to ratify.
Beverly Napier, aye.
David,
David Whirlin, I fully accept.
Cindy,
Yes, I accept it.
and could you state your name and yes, please, just to.
Boundy votes yes.
All right, and Veronica Kell abstains because I was not present at the meeting on October 7th. All right, the second vote that needs to be ratified is the motion to adjourn that was made on October 7th to adjourn that meeting. So is there a motion to ratify the motion to adjourn made on October 7th?
I move to accept the motion to ratify the adjournment on October 7th.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor by roll call vote, Beverly, beginning with you.
Beverly Napier, I accept.
David Whirlin, I accept.
Cindy Boundy, I accept.
And Veronica Kell, I abstain. Again, because I wasn't present at that meeting. All right, moving on. To 2.3, discussion on housing types desirable for the Blood Road property and the Mass Housing Partnership update. So Erin, could you just speak to that for a few minutes for us?
Sure can. So I spoke briefly with MHP, Laura Schufelt, and she provided me with some various types of housing that have been done by MHP, and we get to take a look at them. So these are some examples of different types of housing that we can potentially look at, see what sort of feels right for Townsend, and go from there. Because we provided them previously with the information that we were interested in the cottage style houses, but we're open to other options. Wasn't quite enough for the planners that are working on this to go off of. They needed a little bit more. They need a couple of different options so that they can provide us with some options. So they gave me a PowerPoint that we can run through quickly. And can you enable screen sharing for me, please?
Is anybody there supporting us?
I don't know if TCAM's there right now. They might be trying to investigate what the big boom was.
Oh, Aaron, you're the
You can
co-host
do it,
now.
Aaron, if you need.
Perfect, thank you. All right. So this is the PowerPoint that they gave to me. Can you all see it?
Yes,
Mhm.
I can.
Yep, I can too.
Okay. Oh, hold up. It's going through the,
Right, it's going through the thingy, yeah.
yeah, all right, let's scroll down. Okay. So this is one that was done in Dennis. So this is on, there we go. Half of the 12 plus acres. So this resulted in 27 units. So this is the plan of what it is, and you all have this in your packet as well. But just to sort of show what it looks like, and we have some photos of what the residences actually look like. So
I like that one. Do you want us to talk, Aaron, or do you want to go through the whole thing first?
It is up to you. It is, I think, fine if you want to say if you like something or not. However, if you'd like to sort of hold comments to the end, that's fine too. It's up to you all.
What do you guys think?
I think it's easy to comment once we have all the information to comment on.
Okay, so let's
Right.
keep going then. Go ahead, Aaron, go through them all and then we'll come back.
All right. So this next one is in Falmouth. So this is 39 affordable units. And this was done on almost 10 acres of space. Oh, sorry, 12 acres, not 10 acres was preserved.
I thought it was 20. Go back to that, Aaron. I thought it was
Well, the
9.
total is 20.
Yeah,
So
okay,
11 and a half was used for the housing where 10 was preserved.
okay.
So once again, here we have the layout here with all the parking sort of in between the units to the sides. And this is more or less what it looks like today. So obviously we can't see the entire property here, but this provides you with sort of an idea of what it looks like. The next one is in Brewster. This one has 45 units. So once again, these are larger developments than we'd probably be looking at, but we're looking more at the styles.
Mhm.
So these are more, they look a little bit more like single family residences from the rendering here. Oh, we only have the rendering, I guess. I thought we had real photos for all of them. I apologize. This is for Barnstable. This is 28 units. So this is more of like a cul-de-sac kind of look, but looks a little bit more like single family homes like this one on the bottom here. Another one in Barnstable, which was 12. And this sort of has a single family look. It's just sort of broken up by color, so you can tell that it's different units there. So it's sort of like a, just sort of a different architectural style, but still very sort of in keeping with the town. And here's Mashpee. And this is our last one. This one looks very much like a rambling old farmhouse to me. So very sort of New England style, but has 39 units. So there's a couple of different sort of options here. I told them what you all had expressed interest in. They knew you liked the cottage style, but I had talked about how you had expressed interest in sort of the single family look, or more or less. And so that's what they pulled together for us, was put together these ones that sort of look a little bit more sort of single family style, have sort of the architectural elements that we see in New England, as opposed to something that looks more modern, or sort of a more of like a block style or something like that. So I will stop sharing for now and see if you all have any comments. I can always share again, and if there's any specifics you'd like to go back and look at.
All right, so Beverly, you want to start? What did you like?
Well, I think I like the first one with, I like the New England kind of single family look to the properties. Obviously, that's in keeping with what we have already here in Townsend, so you want to maintain that look, I think.
David, what about you?
Well, the look that Bev's talking about, I think is similar to what we looked at in Westford.
Yeah.
And I fully support that kind of a look. I do have a question, but I'll wait until Cindy, you have a comment about the,
I know. I like the single family look too. What I don't know is if it's cheaper and I'm not saying I want to build a big building, but it could be a money constraint too, to put more units in a bigger building than, I don't know. I don't know how that works out. Like, that would probably be a question for the developer. But I like the idea of having it look like a single family house and maybe like detached, but I'm not sure.
I like
Does that
this.
make sense? Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, I think that's what we all, what we saw in Westford was what we really liked. I
Yeah.
like also in the layout on this one, this Malpit, I think the other direction, go the other direction. I like the layout of this as far as the road and the common area behind the houses. I like that too. And it does look like they're kind of bunched together in twos or threes, but they still feel single family because the porches are offset, kind of.
Mhm.
And
So
I
how many
like
units
that.
are in this one? How many units are in this one that we're looking at?
27 units.
27. Okay. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, so it looks
Mhm.
like it's probably 2 to 3 families per building.
Mhm. Back it up. I want to see the acreage that this is. I think it said half of the 12. So 6 were preserved. So this is on 6 acres, 27 units.
Wow.
I kind of like this.
Hmm.
But anyway, go down. Can we scroll through to maybe it's the third one? Kind of looked similar to this one.
This one?
Not the rendering. Go to the next one. It's this one. That one is denser. You get more units in, but it's similar. What I liked about this was, again, what I liked about the porches are kind of offset. So you're not, it's not like your Pittsburgh 2 family where here's the porch, and you're looking at each other, So I kind of like
Mhm.
that. It feels more separated, even though they're
Are
connected.
these two dwellings? These are two-story dwellings here that we're looking at?
I think, yeah.
They look like 2 to maybe even 3.
I think 3 is high. Do we allow?
So they're like townhouses rather than
Yes.
rather than a unit per level,
Detached.
right? So it's
Yes.
The way
you
it
would buy an
appears.
up and down unit rather than saying my unit's on the second floor. Everyone's units are on the first and second floor.
It says
That's to
quad
me not
building.
real conducive for seniors.
Right.
Not great for seniors
This
to go
says
2 floors.
12 one-bedroom rentals for seniors, 28 rental family homes in quad buildings. Are there 2 different kinds of buildings there?
So it might be that these larger ones sort of in the center of the picture are the quads, maybe? Whereas like there's some smaller versions up here. That's the only thing I can think of. So maybe it's seniors on the side and a quad in the middle, perhaps?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's something we could ask MHP. We can also say we like this style, but we need to sort of fit it to Townsend. That's exactly what they're expecting. They don't expect us to tell them exactly what we're looking for. They're asking us what sort of styles we like so that they can present some different ideas so that we can continue moving forward with this.
Yeah. So I that's what. So we have to decide like if we want townhouses, if we want single level homes, right?
So
Or if we want a single home in one building, or if we want like 2 or 3 units per building, right? Is that what we're supposed to be thinking about?
So yeah, so kind of what we're looking at is they already know that you guys like the cottage style, right? So those are the small units sort of set apart from each other, but with the common space. But we're looking to get a couple of different styles. So for instance, this is kind of a New England look to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you want to specify, we like the townhouses, we don't like townhouses, we want we'd like to develop some that are ADA accessible or, age friendly, things like that. We could certainly specify that. We don't have to make those decisions right now. I think that what we're more looking at is what kind of style you all are comfortable with. If you prefer more of the look of the single family residence, as opposed to something that is, so we can have a couple of different options. So we can both say we like the cottage and we like the single family sort of look. We like more of the sort of clustered, homes around an open space, or we like more of what this is, which is more of like a cul-de-sac in front of the homes. So sort of those kind of stylistic features so that they can come up with some different ideas based on our land is what I understand they're looking for.
Okay.
Well, for me, I don't mind the look of these houses, but I don't like the layout with the parking all in front. I prefer the other layout, the first layout, where there's more green space. These are all the green spaces behind each person. I like the more community green space. That's me. I don't know about you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree.
Yeah, I do
And
too.
I like the cluster around an open space, which is what you're referring to. And I think is a much nicer look.
Yeah. I asked too the development, and I don't know if it's affordable. I don't know what it is in Devon's. You had talked about it, I think, David, too. And they kind of do the same thing. They have a little loop that goes around, and inside the loop it's all common space, like a little park that sits in front of a whole bunch of houses. And it's not the whole development, but it gives you some open space that's accessible to everybody. So I think that's important. I think it's important too that they do look like houses. I like these style houses. Like it should look like, we don't want to build an apartment building, or like, I think it's important that they look like houses, whether they're the cottage or whether they're this kind of farmhouse design but it's important that it look like houses and that it be welcoming and friendly. So,
I would agree with that. On this one, I might even like this better if they had the parking around the back and where the parking is, if that were all green. I would almost like that better if, which is more like what Westford was like. The parking was kind of behind the houses and the open space in the middle. So,
because the parking lot's a little tough here, but then you don't know with lot constraints, but
True. But anyway.
So these are the things that will be able to be discussed at a later date, especially once the designers have a chance to sort of look at the space and see what we can fit and what we can work within our zoning.
Okay.
But
they have a timeline. Did they have a timeline on that, Erin?
So they told me that once I provided the sort of suggestions of what type of housing, it would probably be about 2 to 3 weeks before we heard back with either designs or if it would work on the property or not.
Okay.
But Cindy, you brought up the style of housing. Would you all prefer townhouses versus apartment on top and bottom, or whatever would sort of work best, or something we want to work through later?
I think it's something we have to think about, but I think because a townhouse design isn't going to work for older people. I don't think. I mean, maybe that's just my take on it. So I don't know. Yeah. Do we have to decide that right now? Or maybe we should have to think about it.
No, I just
I
wanted to
think
see if there was
I
something, if there was strong feelings, then I can say we have to, make sure that there are no townhouse style, or we could even see if there could be a mix or things like that. But I don't believe that has to be decided right now. It's more about the style that you're looking to have, and then they'll
yeah.
propose some different options.
And maybe it's something that it could be a mix, because if the housing is going to be a mix, or I mean, you can always, the developer should be able to say X number of units will be, handicap accessible, or X number of units will be one level, or and then maybe other people have a different way. Maybe they would prefer a townhouse because maybe they have kids and would be like, yes, send the kids upstairs, or so I mean, it might depend, but I don't think it should be all townhouses. I think we need a mix of things in there. I think, if anyone else agrees with that.
I don't think a mix aesthetically is going to look great, but it really depends on how much acreage we have to put together. And I think if it's economically driven, then the developers can tell us, look, we can do something if we can do townhouses because multi-story is cheaper for us. I don't know.
Well, that's I think what I would comment, that we want to see how we get the most bang for our buck too. Not that we want this to just be, we want to concentrate solely on cost, but still, if there's some method that is more cost effective and still very aesthetically pleasing, has all the things that we want, but we certainly want our money to go as far as we can.
Yeah, and to clarify, when I say a mix, I think you can have a two-story building, but you have to decide, is that building going to be, is each unit going to be a first and second floor, or the unit's going to be, unit 1 is on the first floor and unit 2 is on the second floor. I think they could work that out, because I think at the end of the day, I think you're right. We would probably get more out of doing like a building with 2 stories, and that's why they build so many colonials and not as many ranches, because it's not as costly. You get more out of it. But so I think you're right on that, but that's what I meant. Like, I think whether it's units with a first and a second floor, or units that are all on one level, one could be on the first floor, one could be on the second floor. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Makes sense to me. Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with all of that. I do want to look at the last one. Can you scroll to the last one? Oh, back up a minute. Back up down to this one. What do you guys think of that? I'm okay with this one too. It kind of has the colonial look to it. And with this, is it first floor? Is it second floor?
Are we looking at 3 units? Is this 3 units or 2 or more?
Or 4?
How many units?
This looks to me like 4.
I'm wondering if the 2 end units are 2-story, and then that little doorway takes you to the second floor apartment, and then the other doorway takes you can't see me pointing. The one with like the bay window kind of is a first floor unit or something like that. I like the look of this too for connected. They're similar. The first one, the third one, and this one, they're similar. Or those 3 are similar in the outside look of it. Where they aren't like, the porches aren't boom, boom, right next to each other. They're kind of, offset. I like that look.
So does something like this, maybe they're all this way, but something like this kind of a design, assuming this is 3 or 4 units, is like a condo? In other words, there would have to be fees for, it's one roof, it's one paint job, it's one landscaping job. I'm not sure how these utilities would be split up, but they would obviously have to be split up. Is that what we're looking at here? In other words, this affordable housing comes with what I'm going to call it a condo fee. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but I mean, am I right? And that's how this would have to be organized.
It
As
might
opposed
be.
to freestanding single, you know, like the Westford situation. Or maybe Westford was the same. Remind me, were Westford 2 units together or were they single?
They were single, but they're condos. They're all attached underneath. They have attached foundations. So it might also be that, for instance, the like condo association fee, just as an example, is a part of the rent, right? So it just might be that it's like part of the utilities. I'm not sure. That might be something we have to sort of figure out later down the line. But
Okay, I mean, this looks like it's a very cost-effective way for a developer. It seems this is a kind of an easier way to go. I don't mind the look of it. I think it's okay.
Yeah, I'm good with the look of this.
It's a very efficient use of space.
So go to the very last one. I think this is probably the most efficient use, but I don't like this so much. I thought I
either.
would like it more than I did, but I don't so much.
Hmm.
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be my
Not
least
crazy,
favorite.
This
Yeah.
is what
Yeah, not crazy with the look.
the chicken, it looks like a chicken coop, the chicken coop approach, kind of, you know? I
Yeah.
don't know. This is my least favorite of all of them.
Hmm.
I agree.
Yeah.
If you're going to connect them all together, I like the one that we just looked at better.
Yeah. Although, this one, I like it the least, so I'm not saying this is what I want to do, but it's probably the cheapest to build and maintain,
Probably
true. But
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean we have to do that. I don't know. That doesn't mean we have to do it. You got to build it and it's
Well,
good.
On a small parcel, maybe this is the way to go on a small parcel. Where
Yeah.
we have the
Yeah,
least
exactly.
amount
It
Yeah.
looks like this is on 3.65 acres, 39 family affordable apartments.
Wow.
of.
Yeah.
So I wonder what the entry is to each of those apartments because I don't see 39 outside doors, you know?
Yeah, no, but it's like an apartment, there's common areas and then
I think we're looking at it from the backyard. We're looking at it from the rear.
could be.
I think you're right. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. So are we safe to say that the other 3 that we looked at are not the one that we only have the rendering, that one's hard to tell. But the other 3 are okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe get back to them with that. And hopefully we'll have something sooner rather than later for what can be done on our parcel.
All right. I will share that with them.
Okay. Anything else on this, on 2.4?
Only I noted that it's interesting that the CPA funds were applied to at least 2 or 3 of those. And it looked like, I think it was Falmouth, that had almost $1 million in CPA funds that was allocated towards that project. Did you notice that for Falmouth?
Pretty amazing. Yeah.
It would take a very long time, I think, to generate. And that's assuming that it would be earmarked for affordable housing. But I found it interesting that Falmouth was able to put together almost $1 million towards that.
Yeah.
That's just an observation.
All right. Anything
Okay.
else? Do you need to go, Cindy? Oh, no, we can't hear her anymore. We can't hear you,
She's
Cindy.
You muted yourself.
Okay.
Speak. Okay,
Bye.
can you hear me now? you hear me
Yes,
now?
yes.
Okay.
I can.
I apologize for arriving late and leaving early, but I do have to go. So good luck with everything else. We'll talk
Bye.
soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Cindy. Bye.
Bye.
2.5, the
Aye.
inclusionary zoning bylaw, and the MSA designation. So Aaron, do you want to say anything, or do you want me to go? This was in our packets, and Aaron has been working on this bylaw for us. So,
Yeah, so I can speak a little bit on the inclusionary zoning bylaw. It's current, so we have it currently as the affordable housing conditional density bonus. It has never been used, which means it's probably not very effective. Let me. So this is a draft that I put together, both looking at our bylaw as well as surrounding towns. MRPC sent me a great tool that allows us to see what towns around us have inclusionary zoning, a quick glance at what the inclusionary zoning is, and how often it's been used, so how effective it's been. Part of this is from, I think I took stuff from Air, Shirley, Ashby, Groton. I looked at a whole bunch of different towns and sort of pieced a couple things together. But some of the things that I think are sort of, we should really look at here are, I maybe made some assumptions that I don't know if you all will agree with, but here we go. So I took out that it had to be a part of the open space preservation or open space multifamily developments, and said that it was with any developments of 8 or more units. So that means if somebody wanted to come in and do a huge development of, let's say, 20 homes, that they would have to have 10% of all those units be sold and maintained at affordable prices. So 10% is not a huge number, but it would help us with that housing stock. I think that 8 is a pretty reasonable number to look at. Anything above 8, because then you're starting to get into where you have the more units that you have, the pricing might start to come down at that point, because you're bringing in a whole bunch of materials already, so you already have that sort of mobilization cost. I think that the affordability rates, which is something that we've talked about before with the metropolitan statistical area, as a part of this, I have it that it would be the planning board, the housing authority, and the affordable housing trust would determine what the affordable pricing, what affordable means here in Townsend. Because that's something that when Veronica and I met with HUD, they said that we might be able to do that through our zoning bylaws if we felt that the affordability for our area was too high. So we're looking at tackling that in a different way. So I've added it into the inclusionary zoning bylaw here. This is something that would be revisited with the housing production plan, which is supposed to be redone every 5 years. So that way it's something that is not a static number, but something that we are revisiting again and again to ensure that it is keeping up with whatever the housing market looks like here in Townsend and in the surrounding areas. So we can make sure that it truly is affordable. I also added in here that lots that are not conforming or traditional in terms of size may be able to get a special permit so long to increase that density or to allow for building on that property, so long as a minimum of 1 unit is made affordable in the development. So for instance, if you had it's 2 acre zoning and you have a lot that's 1.5 acres, so you can't technically build on that where you want to put that single family residence. If you make it 2, 3, 4 units, then you might be able to go ahead and forego that density through a special permit. So it'd still be a process. They might say, no, we don't want 4 units, we only want 3, or we want 2, but it would add that affordability clause in there once again, helping to make it so that lots that are typically not zoned for that would work traditionally are able to be built on. In this way, we can really sort of think about creative ways of building housing on lots that are non-conforming. What else do we have in here? So looking at the sale price, so right now we have, I think it's a 30-year. I changed that to a minimum of 40 years. So it could technically be in perpetuity, but I think in saying that it's a maximum of 30 years to changing it to a minimum of 40 years gives us a little bit more, stretch that time a little bit more. So we do keep that affordable housing in town, even if it's not in perpetuity, for forever, but we do have more time on that. And I think those are sort of the major changes that I made. Oh yeah, sorry, it's down here that I was looking at, the 40-year minimum instead of maximum. And also that if there's any units that get sold that are not sold affordable that were previously affordable, the difference in the purchase price would go towards a fund for creating more affordable housing. So we hopefully won't lose any units, but if we were to, then it's sort of a fail-safe to help provide us with more funding going forward.
And would that be inflation adjusted?
So that would be based on whatever, yeah, because the units are, it's a percentage of the market rate for what they are sold. So if just because the unit was built in 1990 does not mean that it stays at 1990 prices. It would be 2024 prices, whatever the market is, you take 80% of that or whatever. So this would be the same sort of thing. You just take that percentage. So that difference. So this was what I have been working away in the background on. A lot of this, I actually had something very different. And then the town where I lived, I took a lot of this from the zoning that had just been passed. So it works in another town, so hopefully it would work here as well. I definitely tailored it to Townsend and took some pieces from other places as well, but I liked a lot of the ideas that were a part of that and said, yeah, let's give it a try. Let's see what you all think. And then if you all like it, we can bring it back to the planning board and see how they feel and see where we can go from there.
Have you had any initial feedback from the planning board yet based on this or no?
I brought this to you all first. I have spoken to Beth Baxton in my office. She is the planning board administrator, and she is hopeful. She likes the sound of it.
Okay,
and
that was my question. Okay, good.
And
Yeah, let's see where it goes.
yeah, I agree. I think it's ready for prime time, to get another look at it, see what the planning board thinks, and then go from there. I just want to make one statement under, I guess it's sale price and the affordable housing units piece of this. We had talked about the MSA before, and the HUD groupings. And when we talked to HUD, they were not really amenable to changing that. But they did say that what we could do is in a bylaw, use their ways of calculating things for communities and use that and apply it specifically to Townsend. And Aaron did say this. So we're abandoning the idea of trying to change those designations and instead build it into the bylaw with under affordability. You know, what is an affordable, what is that, B under definitions? Affordable housing units, and then also sale price. So build it in there. Are those the only two places, Aaron, or was there somewhere else? That's where I saw it.
I think that's right. I'd want to do a second path, but I think you're correct.
So we're not even going to try to deal with changing those, designations or regrouping the towns, et cetera. They weren't really amenable to that. I don't think so. Anyway, but we can make things specific to Townsend with a bylaw, and that's what's important, really, for us. So, do we need a motion for you to take it to the planning board, or?
If you want to make it official, sure. But I can also, if you all feel comfortable, just go ahead and provide it to Beth, and she can fit it into their agenda where she sees fit.
Okay. I'm good with that. What do you guys think?
We're fine.
All right. So thank you, Aaron. This is wonderful.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. You rock.
Hopefully we'll be able to make a difference.
Moving on to 2.6, mandatory referral 1 Depot Street. Moving things over as I go. This is separate from what was sent to them by us, correct? To the things that we responded to since our, or is this incorporating it?
No, this is just all of those comments together. I just wanted to provide them all to you so that you could see them all in one place.
Mm-hmm.
But there's been no change.
Okay. All right.
I think I sent that to everybody. Did I?
Yeah, I got it.
No.
You did
didn't get
not.
this?
Oh, sorry.
Wasn't it in with the email on that had the minutes? It wasn't in the, or was it in the packet?
Hold on, I'll find it real
Remember,
quick.
it was in one or the other. Those are the two that we got it, and that's how I got it. But
Either way, I will pull it up now.
okay.
So this includes all of the comments from you all. You basically all said the same thing, but I included them all together so that it could be submitted to the planning board as the mandatory referral comment from the Affordable Housing Trust. And then Veronica signed it on behalf of everyone.
Okay. So
And I believe that it's still going through the planning board, but these comments will be provided to them.
great. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, moving on to 2.7, the forestry contract for Haynes Road. Did everybody look at the cutting plans?
No, I haven't seen anything back from the forestry, from the forester.
It was in, do you want to pop those up, Aaron?
Yep.
And there was
I'm sorry.
also, so let's look at the plans first, I guess.
So it was in the folder that I sent all to you all, the packet. So this is for Haynes.
Okay.
And if you want to take a closer look later, you should have the link to that, be able to see it.
He has 2 stands. Go to the picture, Next page, yeah, that one. He has two stands, and in the forestry plan, he delineates what types of wood he expects to take from each stand, and he talks about the wetland crossing in stand 1. There's a wetland crossing up there. I thought he did a good job. What surprised me was the buffer. I thought we were doing a buffer all the way around, but he has a buffer just in stand 1 up in that right-hand corner, and then in the lower right-hand corner along the abutter where the cutting has already taken place, and then along the Wallace Hill Road entry. But I thought he was going to put it all the way around. So that surprised me.
Well,
And also along Haynes Road, I would assume there'd be a buffer from the,
Along the
just
road
from the
there
road,
too.
except for, yeah, I don't see that on Haynes. Wallace Hill I see,
Mm-hmm.
but Haynes doesn't look like there's anything. What is the L at Haynes? What does that designate?
Maybe it's an arrow.
What is that what is that? Yeah.
Doesn't say.
Either-
Yeah, no, it doesn't, does it? I'm looking at the key there, and
Yeah,
I see all, LE, LF, ledge is LE, but it's just L.
yeah.
Maybe
So
that's where his
the
skid is.
question. Yeah, I didn't notice that, Dave, so good call.
I mean, maybe that's where his skid is going to be positioned and he needs it there. I don't know.
That could be. Yeah,
Are we going to ask?
right.
But yeah, the main thing was the screen from the road was important. We thought aesthetically it would be nice, you know.
Right.
Why do you feel that it should be a buffer all the way around? Is there any particular reason?
Just to prevent encroachment on abutting properties. That was why I had considered that, not only for, view or visualization or whatever, but also for encroachment on abutting properties. But it looks like there's a stone wall bound on a lot of this. And if that's the case, the stone wall bound should hold in that case. Might not be as important.
So where the stone wall ends on the left side, on the Wallace Hill Road side of things, where that stone bound ends, what's further up above that?
Yeah, just
keep sliding it down.
Mhm.
Okay.
Just
So
along.
what's all that? Where there's no bound, is that?
That
We
would
don't
just
know what that
be,
is.
yeah, we don't know. Because we haven't surveyed this property. So he has to go by the abutters plans when he creates this. And they usually do. I mean, they do.
Mhm.
So,
It does
And-
look like there's some wet that's close to that edge anyway, at least part of it.
mhm,
So that helps.
mhm.
Okay.
So on this one, we might want to ask about the buffer to Haynes Road. And that could be, the L could be his landing, and that's that. In which case,
Yeah.
keeping a buffer could be tough right there.
Yeah.
you all had said before that you wanted a buffer around the entire property. That's in the scope of work. Is that no longer case? Or do we want to push back and say
That's
that's not what we asked for?
I would like the buffer only because we've never surveyed this property, and my concern was encroachment. Similar to what we had on that with the abutter who did the cutting himself. How do we know that we haven't encroached if we have not surveyed? So, and we know the line on the right now will be surveyed, or at least some part of that line will be. Um, I don't know, Dave and Beverly, what do you guys think? Do you want to continue? Go push back on that and say we wanted the buffer all the way around? That was the thing that surprised me.
Okay, well, here's the question, Ronnie. Do you feel that the stone bounds, which is a good deal of this perimeter, are good enough so we wouldn't have to survey the whole thing? Or do you feel like these stone bounds is maybe arbitrary and may be an issue?
In
What's
my
your feeling?
experience, if you have a stone bound, it's been in this town, it's been there a long time. It's on the plans and it's usually correct. It would be unusual for it not to be because those stones haven't been moved in a very, very long time. And so the concern would more be that the abutters would be shocked that we're cutting all the way up to their property line. And it becomes, I mean, if you were to look out your back door and where you had woods, all of a sudden you didn't have woods or even a buffer, I think we'll get complaints on that. That's what I think. And that's why I would push back.
I'd like to lay eyes on it before committing to doing a survey of the whole thing.
Okay.
If we were just surveying, if we're only surveying a small portion of it, which to me is, on the Wallace hillside, you saw on the left there at the top, that's not that big a deal. But if your concern is that, even with the stone wall, it's still could be an issue, I'd like to lay eyes on it before because it'll cut down, no pun intended, it'll cut down on the amount of timber that can be harvested considerably. What we doing, 20 feet? What would you consider a buffer? How many feet?
We said how much, Aaron? 20?
I think it was 30, but I can check real fast. Hold on.
That's even more. A 30-foot buffer is going to be a significant amount of timber that can't be cut. So, like I said, I think maybe you laying eyes on it first and seeing if it's a big issue or not. We don't know on the other side of that perimeter. We don't know how much timber exists right now, do we?
No.
I don't.
He gives an estimate for the type in the charts in the first couple of pages. He does give an estimate of what he, he's doing a 60% cut, greater than 10 inches. And he estimates what type of wood he's taking. And he's doing a 60% cut, leaving 40%. So it's not a clear cut by any means,
So we said a 30-foot buffer.
We said a 30-foot buffer on the entire perimeter, right?
Yeah.
And he's doing it just along the roadways, sort of. Not even along Haynes Road, but that's not a wide entry. And he's putting his landing there. So it may be impossible there. Dave, if you want to go out there and walk, we can set up a time and go and walk.
Well, if we're going to survey it, to me, it's going to be a basic, whatever we get for the cut is going to the survey. I don't think we'll have a dime left over. So all we get out of it is there's some land for the developer. We've done a little bit of the developer's work for he or she, the developer. But other than that, it just seems like a wash, right? At best, we're not going to. There's no money in it. If we do, am I wrong? The survey is going to be a lot of money.
It will, even out. So,
I think we should look at it and then decide whether we want to go in that direction. I'm not advocating one way or the other, except that I think, if we see it, we can make a better judgment.
I agree with you because if it's all woods, it's not a big deal. If it's open land all the way to the stone wall, and we're then cutting the trees, even if it is a 60% cut, not 100% cut.
Yep.
Anyway,
I mean, maybe we'll end up, maybe looking at it, we'll say, look, you know what? We need a 30-foot buffer from, point X to point Y, just one part of it. We want you to add another 30 feet buffer, but not the whole thing. Not
Right.
everywhere where there's, you haven't already done it. That may, but again, we have to see it. So yeah, let's pick a time and that works, and take a little survey.
we can do that. Do you have a day and time that works, Dave?
For me,
Yeah.
well, we should do it before the snow is on the ground.
Yes, we should do it sooner rather than later so we can get this done with the forester and not, drag it out too much longer. So are you around this weekend?
No, this weekend. Well, wait a minute. No, is this the funeral?
Friday morning? How about Friday morning?
Friday morning for you?
Not for me, no.
I could do it on Friday. Bev cannot.
Okay.
And I can't do it on Saturday, unfortunately.
Okay, Friday morning, I'll go with you. Or we can
Okay.
do Thursday afternoon.
Hang on one sec. It's Thursday. Sorry. 21st. Thursday's even better. And maybe Bev could join us.
This week I'm
No?
out straight.
Okay, don't worry about it. Yeah, let's do Thursday.
Okay, is 2 o'clock good?
We're doing what time?
2.
Sure.
We can do it earlier. We could do
Works.
1.
I could do one. I'm open. Thursday's good. So 1 o'clock Thursday.
Okay.
You want to meet over there, or do you want to meet
Yeah.
at my house or your house? Go in one.
Either way is good. Let's meet at your house. That way we only take 1 car.
Okay, good. So come to my house and we'll go in one car. Okay.
Okay, that sounds good.
1 o'clock.
right.
1 o'clock Thursday. Perfect.
All right. Can we move on to the next plan? So do you want to put Hickory Drive up? It's kind of the same deal on this, and it's stone walls on either side, and he did block out, and that L is his landing. He comes in from Hickory Drive. So he's going to be pulling those big trucks out on Hickory Drive. That'll be a shock to the neighborhood, I'll bet.
South Row is not an option for him, looks like. Not that would be any better.
He's not cutting that at all, but I mean, that's a neighborhood.
It's the only way in and out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh.
Mm.
Okay. On
I think we
this
should talk to
one,
him about how that's.
that's where
Yeah.
we walked in with him, though, when we did the walk with him. So he's aware.
Yep. Yep.
Anyway, he gives the buffer on both ends, but not on the sides. And again, it's the stone wall. We walked
see the
out
wall.
there, and there's
Yeah.
the abutters. There aren't really houses on either ends there. That's all pretty much open space where he doesn't have it angled, I don't know.
But there's a stone wall, right?
There's a stone wall all the way on one side and a stone wall most of the way on the other side.
Well, the only thing, my comment about where his landing is that spot to go in and out. If and when this is ever developed, you need a way in and out anyway.
Yes.
Now he could do a certain amount. He could do a certain amount of restoration. We could ask him to do, or we could do, just to clean up that, I don't know, 20-foot wide, 30-foot wide. I'm not sure how wide he's going to need, but it'll be at least 20 feet, probably more.
Hmm.
We could ask him to restore that to some extent, or, or again, we could allocate some funds from this to restore it ourselves. But, at some point, there has to be a way in.
Yes, yeah. I don't know why. I kind of thought he would go in from South Row Road, not from Hickory Drive, but that's me. I don't know why I thought that, but I did. So, and I think he's probably using the logging roads that already exist out there. Because when we walked out there were already roads, pretty wide logging roads, former logging roads out there. And I'm guessing he's reusing them, which isn't a bad idea. So I'm not as concerned
So
about.
again, I mean, in terms of, I don't, because you say there's not residences on either side, or are
Correct.
there? Is it open? Yeah.
It's
So I don't
it's
think we
open.
need to
I think
survey
it's
this.
the well up behind Ash Street, on the one side, and on the other side, it's woods. So you would eventually come to houses, but it wouldn't be quite as shocking. There aren't residences right along that line, whereas on Wallace Hill Road there is. So
Now, he hasn't filed this yet, right? Are these plans subject to our approval? Is that before he files them?
Correct. So yeah, the forester sent these over for you all to see and approve and have signed by the town prior to them going filed with the state.
Okay.
and
Well, I think after Ronnie and I take a look, after we look at the other one, I think we'll be able to respond to him.
there's one other piece. So do you want to put up the agent sheet there?
Sure.
This one I've never, in any forest cutting that I've done in my experience with the land trust, this is a form that I've never seen before. So it's not that I object so much as I at least would like town council to review it prior to us signing it. And we also need, because the land is owned by the town, I know that it was transferred to us, but who makes this designation? Is it the Affordable Housing Trust or is it the Select Board? So I would like town council to weigh in on this.
Agreed.
So if that's the case, I think we need then a motion to sign the appointment of agent form after review by town council, or to have signature by either the housing trust or the select board after review by town council. So
I think we make it a motion simply to agree to have this appointment of agent form reviewed by town council prior to it being signed by any entity, the entity being determined by town council.
sounds good.
That
Is
would
there
be
a
the motion.
second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion on this? All right, roll call vote, beginning with Beverly. Name and vote.
Beverly Napier, I vote yes.
David?
David World, I vote yes.
And Veronica Kell, yes. All right, so Erin, are you good with what to get back to Kyle with and to town council?
Yeah, I'll let Kyle know that we are in a holding pattern.
Again. Okay, thank you. But hopefully it won't be a long one.
Yeah.
So, and if everything is good
I think-
with that, we'll go forward. So.
Yeah.
All right. 2.8 is to look at meeting dates. We set up quarterly meeting dates for us. The next meeting would be February 17th, May 19th, August 18th, and November 17th, just so we have quarterly meetings set. So right now, our next
Yep.
meeting would be on February 17th, if everybody's good with that, and then we can okay the next quarterly meeting.
5 minutes. That's fine.
Yeah.
Quick to the meeting.
Is that good?
We fly on the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, they're all good for us.
Okay, and we
Can't
can
speak for
always
Cindy.
adjust. Yeah, well, Cindy, it's February 17th. And then, if something would come back from MHP or whatever, we'll call a meeting 48 hours in advance if there's something for us to discuss in the meantime. So, all right. We don't need a motion for that, correct? Consensus is good, right, Aaron?
I think so.
All right. 2.9 is the discussion of the open meeting law complaint. This is the open meeting law complaint filed on October 24th by Cindy King. It's been distributed to the Affordable Housing Trust. So I just want to confirm that everybody has received it. So Beverly and David, have you both received the complaint?
I have.
Yes.
Yes, as have I. So I'll provide my thoughts on the resolution to move forward. Let me just get these. So I have the complaint. The meeting on October 7th, so here's my resolution. The meeting on October 7th, 2024 was held both via Zoom and in the Selectmen's Chambers with the town's housing administrator in the chambers and all members on Zoom. The agenda listed both the chambers and Zoom for location. And I would attach the October 7th agenda. If you see that, it says meeting in the chambers and there is a Zoom link. At no time was the public unable to attend the meeting. In fact, the complainant, Cindy King, attended the meeting in the chambers, sat at the table with the housing administrator who was participating in the meeting, and recorded the meeting as was noted in the complaint. All right, as for the thing about the agenda referencing the wrong date, there was a clerical error in the agenda that was missed, as there had been both a joint housing trust, housing authority meeting, that was on September 12th, and a housing trust meeting, which was September 4th in September. The complaint had the OML complaint from September 18th that was being discussed at the October 7th meeting. This is editorial. Had, it said OML complaint TAHT, and because the THAT meeting was on September 4th, it was just misconstrued. The September 12th meeting was actually a housing trust, housing authority joint meeting. An effort will be made to proofread agendas more thoroughly going forward. The next part was that had to do with the October 7th THT meeting was held to respond to the OML complaint regarding the September 12th meeting that was filed against TAHT, also by Cindy King. During the meeting on October 7th, the board, in its response to the September 18th OML complaint, agreed to OML training. As the trust agreed to OML training as a result of the 7/12 OML complaint and subsequent October 7th meeting on this complaint, The trust would greatly appreciate patience as our efforts in OML training is currently underway, beginning after the decided action at the October 7th meeting. As far as non-roll call votes taken at the October 7th meeting, for the motion to accept the response to the September OML complaint and for the motion to adjourn, these were ratified at the November 18th meeting of TAHT. As indicated in the October 7th response to the September 18th OML complaint, the TAHT members will complete OML training. We have received the Attorney General's, the training modules from the Attorney General's office that are on mass.gov, and we're in the process of completing them. Sincerely, Veronica Calchain. So does anybody have anything else that they would like to add to this response at this time? These are suggestions onto how we should move forward to address the complaint of October 24th against the October 7th meeting. Would you have anything else that you'd like to add? Or should we use this as the plan to address the complaint?
Since Cindy King is not here, what I'm about to say is probably
Well,
going
she
to
is here, I think. She's on the Zoom meeting.
I am
good.
here if you would
good.
allow me to have a little bit input.
No, thank you, Cindy. I'm going to let David talk.
I'm simply going to say this, and I've thought about this a lot.
Thank you, Dave.
Okay, go ahead and start over.
Simply say this. If this is going to be the way that we move forward, in other words, if this response is going to end what I consider to be complaints that are hypercritical comments about the OML and do not contribute to constructive comments to further the mission of this board, then my position is not to engage at all, period. I signed up for this as a volunteer to spend my time to try to help further the mission of this board. And if we're going to spend an undue amount of time with these very, in my opinion, hypercritical comments about OML, which is, there's the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. And the spirit of, in my opinion, the mission of this board has been moving forward very nicely. But to go after the letter of the law on these OML complaints over and over and over and over again will make me resign from this board. So I hope that this is the last time we're going to go through this. And if it's not, you can consider that I'm going to resign. That's my position. I will accept Ronnie's way of addressing this right now, provided this is the last time we go through this level of OML complaint and having to deal with this. This is a complete distraction. It's not helpful to our mission, and I will spend zero time doing this in the future. That's my position. I have nothing else to say.
So I will, Beverly, go ahead.
I will say that this, I don't believe that the spirit of these complaints is in the betterment of the running of the town. There seems to be some other agenda here that I don't understand. I think David is absolutely correct that we have, as volunteers, we're taking time out of our lives to accomplish this mission on behalf of the town. And I think, you know, it would be nice if we could just do that and not spin our wheels on these other things. I mean, I don't think we have any ill intent or evil intent here. You know, we're, like David says, we're trying to abide by the spirit of the law.
So my comment to add to that is this meeting, the October 7th meeting, was a meeting to address an open meeting law complaint, which was legitimate and which was acknowledged as such, and in which the board agreed to open meeting law training. It seems that filing an open meeting law complaint against a board that has just agreed in the meeting that the complaint is filed against, that they broke the open meeting law, is ludicrous and seems to fall in line with exactly what David and Beverly just said. So we do have a mission to accomplish, and we would very much like to accomplish that mission. And we are doing the open meeting law training. So with that said, is there a motion to accept the response to the October 7th open meeting law complaint that we received, the October 24th open meeting law complaint against the October 7th meeting?
Oh,
This is my whole point. That I have to remember this, and I have to say it exactly this way in order to
Just
move
say
forward
as
with the
moved.
letter of the law. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to make that motion. Someone else can make it.
all right. So we're moving to, geez, what are these dates? You have to repeat it and I'll write it down. Moving to.
The motion is to accept the response to the October 24th open meeting law complaint. And let's just leave it at that.
Okay, I make a move to accept the response to the October 24th meeting law.
Open meeting law complaint.
Open meeting law complaint. Open meeting law complaint.
And I will second that. So we need a roll call vote, starting with Beverly.
Beverly Napier. I move to accept.
David Werlin, I move to accept.
And I will, let's just say you vote to accept. I also vote to accept the response. All right, thank you very much. Is there any correspondence? This is moving on to 210. Any correspondence or clerk's announcements?
I believe that the only correspondence was the forestry contract.
Okay,
That's the only thing I have in the packet. I usually drag it over as soon as I get it. So
good. Okay, so that's it. And with that, is there a motion to adjourn at 2:31 p.m.?
I move to adjourn the meeting at 2:31 p.m.
Second.
Is it a second? All those in favor, roll call vote. So Beverly?
Beverly Napier. I vote yes.
David Werlin, I vote yes.
And Veronica Kell, yes. All right, thank you very much. Next meeting, February 17th. All right. And David, I will see you, on Thursday. All right, bye, everyone.
1 o'clock. Thank you.
1 o'clock.